The why really is just to examine the routine. Is it still serving me?
And I say this because I've talked before on podcasts, haven't I? When stuff gets full on and you're going, you're doing lots of stuff and you're being productive, but you are in go mode. In your coaching session, what triggered this line of conversation? What was it that led to this route of shaking things up, or is it still serving you?
So we're on a journey together, right? That's what I feel we are. We're all on a journey here together on this planet. He was the Russian in Rocky IV.
Look at that. See, I've not even seen that one. I'm all over it.
You've not seen it?
No.
You need to watch it then. You need to.
It'll shock you even more, Joe. I've not even seen Rocky III. InspirationNation, hello, it is Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast, here with Jose Noya, the inspirational man. Unfortunately, Ryan cannot be with us this week. He seems to think that playing pool is more important than us, but we'll forgive him for this 1 week. Joe, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thanks, Lee. Yeah, thanks for asking. As always, you're very always polite, so yes. And how are you, Lee, this week?
I'm really good. I'd say it's because I care, but I don't. I've just got into this routine where I just ask without even thinking about it now.
No, that's what he says, everybody, but he does really mean it.
What I do care about, of course, is our valuable listeners and watchers across YouTube, across all podcast platforms, easy for me to say. And don't forget to check us out on social media at ListenToIn. Anything you want to comment about the show, we really appreciate it. I've noticed actually, Joe, in our podcast data, there's a lot of the older shows back for the archive being listened to at the moment. So whoever's out there, guys that are trawling through, we really appreciate it. What are your favourite episodes? What do you like? What do you not like? Check us out on social media, give us some comments. We would really appreciate that. So this week, Joe, it is your topic to choose from. So what is the inspirational subject for the week?
So you tried to catch me out before the podcast, didn't you? And I wonder if you can guess what it is. Can you guess what it is, Lee? Could you guess what it is?
I can guess what it is, Joe.
What is it?
Because anyone who's out there, if you've read Joe's blog, head over to InspirationNation.org.uk if you want to sign up. You will see that Joe has made quite a significant change in his routine. Routines we know are really important. Where Joe, and I want to hear more about this because I'm presuming this is the topic, that after 1,034 days, you've taken a break from daily videos. Now this, again, people who joined us first time, go back, listen through the archive. This is what really got us started, is Joe's journey into these daily videos. For what, 3 and a bit years you've been doing them every single day?
Yeah, but I don't know, I think 1,034, I think it equates to something like, because it's 365 days a year, right? Have I got that right? So it's 369. Yeah, I suppose it is. Is that right? Yeah, it's maybe, isn't it? About 3 years and a bit, maybe.
There or thereabouts, Joe.
Yeah.
And you are taking a break from this. So this is, this is a big thing. So I'm very intrigued, if not excited, to hear a bit about why, and also how you feel being, you're now 3 days into this?
Yep, 3 days in. So actually, Lee, that isn't the subject of the podcast.
What?
I'm only joking. It is the subject of the podcast. So yeah. So Lee's absolutely spot on. So I want to just sort of talk about experimenting with routines. So Lee asked the why question, right? He asked the why question. Why am I experimenting with my routine? Well, I've done this for about just over 3 years. I can't work out the exact amounts, but if we think about our routines, they've got to serve us, right? So when we started the podcast, actually before the podcast, I started doing the daily videos. However, I had a coaching session last week. And last week, I was challenged on whether this routine is still, this really sort of stringent routine that I had was serving me. And I said, well, I tell you what, am I going just through the routine for the sake of it, or is it giving me something? Is it giving me energy? Is it giving me, what I need to continue to be the best version of myself? I had to ask myself that question. I had to think, well, okay, am I just doing it because it's like a tick box? Or am I doing it because it's actually adding value? And of course, I did 1,000 videos, and I've got some amazing feedback from the daily videos. It's been amazing because it's helped them and stuff like that. So there's a ton of videos on my Instagram, on my Twitter feed, on my TikTok feed where I'm on tonight, the TikTok feed. There's loads of videos to help people feel inspired and get to their next level. So the whole point of me experimenting with my routine is I want to make sure that I'm doing this because one, I want to do it, and two, it's helping me be a better version, and in that, helping others as well. I want to help others and also help myself, and we all grow together. So I decided that I'd been doing it for 3 years, so I thought I'd break the cycle. I'd break it and see how I felt, and see. I think Lee references in a previous podcast, didn't you, about whether you want to do it, what it gives you. Are you wanting to, or are you just doing it for the sake of doing it? Something like that.
Punishment episode, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Again, InspirationNation.org.uk if you want to check that out.
There you go. And so the whole experiment is this: do I miss it? Do I miss doing the videos? And actually, at the minute, I don't miss it. I'm really enjoying just having that relaxed time, reflection time. So I've written a few things in my journal. I can go and get that in a moment. When Lee does a bit of the announcements, but I've been trying to write down my thoughts, and I've been trying to really reflect on how can we make more of an impact with Inspiration Nation? Is it the daily videos? Is it that we need to just post, when we can plan and make a more impactful type of content to help people out there? That's what I want to help you guys with. So go back on videos and check that out. Is that the case? Is it an impactful message that's going to make an impact to you and give you that energy? And also for me, right, I've got to remind myself of what I need to do. So I've been writing some ideas down. I've been looking at what I'll do. So I'm not even writing the blog this week. So I'm taking I'm taking here to sort of make sure that I don't do that either, because I'm taking a full break. Of course, I've still got a day job, so I'm still doing that. And so that's really where I sit with it. So the why really is just to examine the routine. Is it still serving me? And does it still give me energy, and still make me a better version of myself to serve people better, to make that content more powerful for people, to help them improve as well as myself. So we're on a journey together, right? That's what I feel we are. We're all on a journey here together, on this planet. And so I want to put content in the world that's going to help others, and help you grow. So I hope this is, and I want this to make an impact. So today I want you to think about, have you got a routine, first of all? If you haven't got one, then you need to design one. And secondly, if you're doing a routine, you've been doing it for years, so you need to change it. So that's where I'm sitting with it, Lee.
So what in your coaching session, what triggered this line of conversation? What was it that led to this route of shaking things up, or is it still serving you?
So they asked me, they said to me, it sounds like a really strict routine, Joe. Jose. I said, Jose. And I said,
don't let people know your real world name, Jose. They'll never crack that.
Exactly. And so, what's up, babe? What do you want? Yeah, I'm recording. What's the matter? Oh, my wife's just trying to write me.
Talking about real life interruptions on the podcast. I love it.
It's waving at me, going, don't say it.
Just picking her up from the train station. What time do you finish?
Okay. All right. So why? What's the why? The why is that the challenge to, am I holding on to a structure? Am I just holding on to something just for the sake of it? It was really stringent. So like the cold showers, so I drop the cold showers, and then I'd do a routine in the morning, get up at 5. And was I doing it because, I wanted to do it? Was I doing it because it was giving me happiness? And so I want to experiment with that. I want to experiment whether this is giving me happiness. And at the minute, I'm finding that I'm having more time in the morning to do bits in the morning, which, I do the routine. But, even my wife said, oh, it's really, she was really shocked. I didn't tell my family I was changing it. And my wife said to me, oh, this is nice, because I stayed in bed a bit longer, give her a little cuddle. You don't usually do this because usually out of bed doing my videos. So I suppose it enabled me to focus on being a husband, more energy into that. And just focusing on being present more and not keep thinking about that future, which we always talk about, trying to be present. So I'm practicing all these things and maybe just being in the moment more. So the why is really, I need to challenge my structure, and whether I need to change that structure to make me see if I can increase my development and energy levels even higher than what they are now, and whether in fact it means that I change it. So I don't do so much posting, but the posting that I do is more impactful. And I think that's the reason why I've done it. I want to make this more impactful. So people coming here on TikTok or wherever I'm broadcasting, that they get an even more impactful message than I had before.
So how did you feel when you were first challenged on this?
I was scared. I didn't want to let the routine go. In fact, I didn't want to break the routine. I think that almost like was the challenge, because when I started the routine, I wanted to challenge me. I wanted to challenge, and actually after a while, it wasn't really that challenging. I suppose I'm challenging myself to not do it, not feel that I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm exploring that, and I don't know what it looks like yet. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this. I still don't know when I'm going to go back. I said a week. Who knows? I'm day 3.
How are you feeling on day 3? How is this?
It's weird. It's quite enjoyable though in the morning, because I said I've got more time, right? What I'm doing actually, I got more time. I'm still watching inspirational videos, but I'm not like tying myself into it. So part of my routine was to watch inspirational content to fire me up. So I watched a YouTube video called Dolph Lundgren. Anyone? Do you remember him, Lee?
Lundgren? Yes, I do.
You know that Rocky is my inspiration, right? Who is Dolph Lundgren then, Lee?
I'm not big. I think I might have seen Rocky 1 once, but he was one of the boxers on the other side. Was he in Rocky 4? I'm going to say
he was. He was the Russian in Rocky 4.
Look at that. See, I've not even seen that one. I'm all over it.
You've not seen it?
No.
You need to watch it, Lee. You need to.
It'll shock you even more, Joe. I've not even seen Rocky 3. And you know why I'd want to watch that?
You'd love to see Rocky 3 because it's got Hulk Hogan in it.
Exactly.
You'd love that. What was I saying? Anyway, he did an inspirational speech, and he's really like an intelligent guy. He's had a lot of challenges in life. He got abused as a child. And I didn't know any of this until 2 days ago. Had I not done this, I would not have known that. And I would not have watched that. I would have just kept doing what I'm doing. So it's already bringing benefit that I'm watching other things that may not have been in the routine that I would. Because I'd usually watch like Evan Carmichael stuff, videos that, that I really am into. I usually want to support that message. But now I'm sort of, not that I won't ever do that again. Of course I will. I think I'll always support Evan Carmichael because he got me started on this journey of the development and finding out, more about yourselves. And he's got me this thing about putting content there to help the world. And that's what I really want to do. We want to do, in fact, with the Nation podcast. And I was thinking about that. And so that's where it sits. And I wouldn't have done any of that. And I think, supposing for me, is I want this podcast to be really impactful. And I want to start thinking of ideas and how we can make it even more impactful. And I think that's what I want this space to do. And I'm already thinking now, and I'm going to put this on the podcast, that I think maybe, when we do our content, we point people more towards the podcast, and everything should be geared towards just going to the actual website, where I think, just talking a little bit of tactics, is that I don't think we do that enough. We don't point people enough to the website enough. So that's something that came to my head as a result of this reflection. That every post
that website is InspirationNation.org.uk. Head over there. Loads of great stuff. Loads and loads, in fact, of inspirational content. I like it, Joe. So you've talked a few times on this. You kind of referenced where you want to go with this still. And where any of those ideas started forming. I say this because I've talked before on podcasts, haven't I? When stuff gets full on and you're going, you're doing lots of stuff and you're being productive, but you are in go mode. And then I'll do that routine where I slow down and I take a morning out and I don't do anything like that. And then my creative brain starts to switch in. Whereas you're doing that on a massive scale, that you've stopped the core of your routine. So I can only imagine, how much space that will free up in your mind. So has that creativity started to click in yet, or do you think you're kind of on your way to that at the moment?
I think it has started to kick in a little bit. Like I say, that idea about pointing people more towards it, and whether it'll produce, even more thought-provoking content. 'Cause that's what I want to do. I want people to, have more thought-provoking content, right? And I don't know what the new routine's going to look like, but I want this creativity. Maybe that's something that I need to work on, right? That be more creative. Although creating content is creative, right? But to actually have that reflection time to be more creative, that I don't think we allow ourselves. Or I haven't allowed myself, because I just pick up and go, right? Just go up, what I'm going to pick up and go. But what I'm worried about is that I lose the motivation to do it. That's a fear of mine.
Okay.
So once I stop, am I going to do it again? Would I do it again? I don't know. Would I continue? That's what's scaring me a little bit, because I love this podcast, and the one thing that I said there's always going to be this podcast every week. That is not going to stop. I think now for me, this podcast every week is the bare minimum, because it was the daily videos, but we did the podcast anyway. But now I think we've had the podcast up for what is 3 years now. Is it 3 years? Is it 3 years? I don't know. What are we? Is it we 3 years?
I'm going to say we're just over our 2.5 year anniversary, I think.
So I want this to be the mainstay every day, every week for the rest of our lives. That's what I want this to be. And so it just keeps us on point. I think having this, I think it's like a mark in the, what do you call it? A line in the sand that we can't go beyond, right? It's got to be there forever and see. And it's almost like a journal for us, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely served that purpose. That's very true.
And so this is what I want, us to be able to look back at it. And I want you guys here listening to follow this journey, because essentially this, as I said before, that this podcast was built out of nothing really, wasn't it? It's like nothing, and Lee put it through, and that's how we did it, and that's what happened. But yeah, that's a lot of the whys there, Lee, in terms of the why I changed it. I was scared of it.
What do you think, looking ahead to this week, because we're on Tuesday now, you're running through until a minimum of Sunday, what's going to be your biggest challenge in this change, or over the coming week, do you think?
To decide what I'm going to do next.
Okay.
I really don't know. I actually got no idea.
But do you think you need to do that? Sorry to cut in. You've said a couple of times now, it's almost, if I can say, almost justifying what you're doing by saying, but we're going to be bigger and better and inspirational and
that's what I want. That's what I want, or I want for us.
Do you need to push that? Is that a goal for this week, or do you need to sit back on this and take that break and let those thoughts start to come through themselves? Because like you said, we're going to be doing this each and every week. This isn't going anywhere. The accounts and stuff you've got aren't going anywhere. You can pick up that phone and record a video anytime that you want. But do you by the end of this week, do you need to have an epiphany of what's new, or is that something that's going to evolve itself as we go forward?
Well, I want it to evolve. That's what I want. Like they say, you want it to evolve. And does it mean that I just have to almost like unplug from it all apart from this podcast? I think this would be a good space to just look at that. And I find it uncomfortable not to journal. I literally have not been journaling apart from, I've been doing like little thoughts.
I feel your pain, Joe. I struggle with not journaling
you love a journal. Yeah. I love my journal, and I've really just tried to step back from it. But I have been recording. When I've got an idea or something, I'll put in it. In fact, Lee, do you want to just run the advert, and then I'm going to grab the...
You're going to go off and I'll let you run the advert. I'm just going to make it up off the top of my head as we normally do. Everyone out there, thank you for listening, for supporting the show. Go, Joe, go. You've got to get your thing. You're burning time. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show. Massively appreciate it. Again, check us out on social media. We are at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN. Joe, just look for Jose Noya-Inspiration. Just stick that into Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. They will all come up for Joe. And as we referenced before, head over to the website inspirationnation.org.uk. Find the Inspiration Nation store there. Sign up for Joe's blog, details of the coaching service, and our full archive of over now 2.5 years worth of podcast as well. Most importantly of all, if you like what you are hearing, get on social media, leave us a comment, tell friends and family, leave us a 5-star review. That is what really, really, really helps the show grow. Appreciate it, everyone. Once again, check us out at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN. Joe, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. So I've got my little journal here, and literally stopped on 11th of September. So actually 11th of September, I got feelings at a loss. Today, just stop my videos. Like I just put that, mind going, what am I going to watch? What am I going to do? Want to do something? Going to be mindful, going for a mindful walk, I put. So I went for a mindful walk. So I'm trying to be more present. On the 13th, missed out the 12th, on the 13th, felt more relaxed. Jen said this was nice. So it's like that's where we just spent a bit more time together. And that was really nice. Do I miss it? No, I don't. I said, do I miss doing it? No, I don't at the moment. Letting things happen. Just trying to be more in the moment instead of thinking of the future, which I'm quite future based. Like I'm trying to just enjoy the moment. So this is what I'm really trying to record. Being in the moment, thinking about what you're thinking. Can you just be mindful about enjoying the life in the moment And then on the 14th, I put I'm enough, I'm happy. So a few affirmations that I like to put forward, in terms of, I'm moving towards a better version of myself by doing this, challenging myself. An idea to rethink the strategy and process. An idea came about this strategy, the promotion for the podcast. So thinking about directing people more to the InspirationNation.org.uk. Let's do what you did with the advert there. So I suppose it's starting to come, Lee, that thing you said about I want the podcast to be super awesome and super impactful and super, amazing out there, right? And maybe this is what this is going to provide some ideas around that. And I think even now talking to you, I think we probably need to sort of get our heads together, you, me and Ryan, and talk about that. And maybe talk about, do we need to have more structured content? Do we need to have all of us, providing ideas for that? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking at the minute. So, answer your question, and that's what I put so far. All I want to do is over the page.
So for today,
I'll put here. There was a goal. This is the goal I wrote. I said goal, and you said about. And I didn't really write this down until I flicked the page. But what it says to have a super successful podcast with our downloads of over 100,000 per week. That's what I put as a goal. I said what needs to happen. Point one. This is where the idea came from. Point all posts towards InspirationNation.org.uk. So that was just one thing that came from that we've got to be more mindful. That's that. You may not agree with that, Lee, because you might think, well, I don't agree with that. But that's something we can talk, down the line as a strategy. But that was one thing that came out of their reflection. And it could be just one idea that I think of, and you might look at that idea and you might build on that idea, and that could be the idea. And Ryan might come up, we'll build on that, or you might come up with an idea because I've thrown out that builds that idea to make this into 100,000 a week download podcast. And that's, I suppose, would be a great goal, wouldn't it? To get that.
Absolutely, it would. So, because we're talking future again, Joe, and I want to bring back a new experiment for this week.
Yeah, go on, Lee.
Because it's great. Don't get me wrong. Having big goals, looking forward, having time to create that, it's absolutely, this is what we want to inspire people to do. We hope we are doing that. But mindfulness, like you said, is a great thing as well. That being able to be present, being able to be in the moment, a great coping mechanism for things, great for dealing with stress. So what are your mindful moments from today? So we've done the future, but day 3, if you were going to journal, imagine it in your head because you're not journaling formally, what would you be your 3 things from today that you found from being present or being mindful that you could be grateful for?
I actually felt that I could just sit and watch. I really find it guilty to sit and watch a bit of TV. Like I sat down, I'm just choosing a show. In fact, I was watching Total Recall that I haven't watched, the new version.
Not so nice.
I've never seen it, so I've seen the original.
That's good. Taking a bit of time for yourself, and you're able to do that, and you could do it guilt-free.
And I was thinking actually, I'm so grateful that I can actually, as a human being, sit in my front room and watch anything. And actually, I've got my needs. I'm very fortunate that I've got a day job like we all have, right? We can do this, and we can actually we've got freedom. I used to think we don't have freedom, because you've got a job, you've got certain responsibility. But everyone has responsibility. Life is about responsibility. So I just thought I've got freedom to choose that I can watch that, and I can sit here and not have to worry about my roof over my head or my bills, because they're already they're taken care of in the main. So that's 1. 2, just being happy, just sitting there with my cat and just sitting there and just enjoying the moment and just actually being happy. My wife getting her hair cut and just being able to sit and just enjoy that and actually feel happy. Like, just because I think a lot of the times we miss those moments, and that's what I've missed, not just sitting and being happy and being actually at this moment. I'm really happy that I'm just sitting here, being able to choose what I want to do, when I want to do it, and not feel, well, I still feel guilty, to be honest, but not feel as guilty as I would when I'm thinking about doing that posting. But I still want to do the posting. That's my challenge. But I'm really training myself to be more present, to actually recognize that actually it's all going to work out in the end, right? All this is being taken in through our eyes and ears, and it's all everything's a perception, isn't it? And how we perceive.
We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah. And how I perceive things. It's just electronic signals going into my brain about what this is. So how I perceive that is down to me. And I'm going to point everyone to that book, Man's Search for Meaning, where I read this. What's his name? Viktor Frankl, in a concentration camp, and he could choose the way he responded to his environment. And you can choose the way you respond to things. And I think, you know, practicing that, you know, I'm thinking of that. That's really how I should be, you know, looking at things. It really, when we think about it, is how we perceive and how we react and respond to things. And that's really what I want to focus on, maybe for the rest of this week. And then obviously be free to, like you said, come up with ideas. If they pop into my head, I don't know whether they will. That's I'm a bit frightened of, actually. I don't know whether they will. You say, oh, we're going to have 100,000 download a week. Is there another idea? I've got no idea. I don't know. But this is the thing I've got to be comfortable with, right? Because I'm very structured. I like this to happen in a certain way.
I'm going to like checking in on you with this, Joe, and see how you're doing with it.
Yeah, and that's me. And but like I say, I'm quite frightened to let that structure go. As you know, Lee, I love my structures. I love having structure, as you well know, work together, haven't we? So
indeed. This week, though, Joe, and I'm very proud of you, you are winging it.
Oh, we haven't had one of those episodes for a while, but yes, I am really. I'm just literally no plans, no whatever. In fact, Lee taught me this. I'm going to congratulate Lee this, because he just said, Joe, don't write any notes, just go with it. Just go with it. And the first
this is where the podcast prep, wasn't it? And you'd have pages of notes, yes.
And now I don't have any. Literally, this podcast that's what I've really learned from Lee a lot, is that I've learned just to let go of stuff and let things happen and trust you. And actually, from, you know, going on from that, letting your skills run, like letting them take over a little bit, like trusting yourself to, you know, to go with the moment, go in the moment, have thoughts, don't be afraid, just lean into it and have that conversation, and not knowing what that end of that conversation is going to be like, right? And so that's what I'm practicing at the minute. So that's where I sit.
Excellent. I love it, Joe. I love it. Anything else you want to mention on this subject? Because I think that's a really good point to make there.
So for me, you know, I would say to people, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, please have a look at your routines. Do you have a routine? I think it's good to have a routine. I'm still getting up relatively early. So getting up at 6 a.m. still, even though I usually get up at 5, get up at 6. But if you have a routine, is it serving you? Secondly, if you don't have one, do you need one? How are you facing your day? You know, what intention are you showing up with? Because intention of your day is important. I still have an intention to want to serve people. And so I delivered training today. For me, it was coaching for leaders. So I was coaching leaders how to coach. And so turning up for them in the right way, still that routine of, you know, having intention, getting up to want to serve, to want to help people. That is what helps me, you know, deliver what I need to do for the day. And intention, you know, to intention be like a great husband, a great dad. I want to show up for people. And I think that for me, you know, that's what I'd leave you with. And if anything, that's what I think taken away. Lee, you've asked some questions. That's what I've really taken away. That's my big takeaway from today. I think the intention behind everything. I think that's mine.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes, Joe. So you created a good bit of WhatsApp chat over the weekend when you dropped out you were doing this. So I think this is good. And no matter what happens with this, it's great just that you're able to challenge yourself and try and do things differently and see where they go, because that is always important. And
you know that I don't like it, Lee. You know I don't like it. I don't like it when I
can tell your uncomfortableness right now.
Yeah, I don't like it because you know, Lee, that I don't like it when I don't know what's happening. I have to have a structure. I have to know what's happening. And Lee's always put me in that situation where Lee's like wings it a bit, and it's great because he's really responsive, but he's really in the moment, makes great decisions in the moment. And I want to learn more of that, where I can trust myself and not that I don't, but it's like trusting yourself more. And believing that actually it's going to work out. It's going to be all right. You might fail, but it'll be okay in the end. And I think I've struggled with that in the past. And it's been a bit of a therapy session for me, I think, isn't it?
I like it, Joe. It's been very, very good. In a good rule of marketing, for the third time I'll mention InspirationNation.org.uk. Everyone out there, head over there for all your inspiration needs. And again, check us out social media at Listen to IN for the show, and just put in Jose Noya Inspiration Nation. You will get access to all of Joe's social medias, albeit they might be a little bit quieter for this week.
They certainly are. There's nothing on there at all. But like I say, go on there, comment. I'll still respond. If you do, if I get a message, I will respond to you. But I'm not posting at the minute. But yeah.
Excellent stuff. We will be back again next week.
Don't get away with that quickly, Lee. Excuse me. Stop there. You know, Lee, what I've got to ask you?
Yes, I'm not doing the routine. We're throwing it all out the window this week.
No, but I'm going to make sure you do the big takeaway. What's your big takeaway from the conversation?
Joe, you just said doo-doo.
What's that?
You said doo-doo.
I didn't say doo-doo.
You did. play it back, listen to it. Mature humour here on Inspiration Nation as I pad for time. My big takeaway, Joe, and it's something, and I know I kept promoting it on this, but it's something I need to make sure I am on. It's the mindfulness part of what you're doing, that being present, being in the moment. I think it's a really important thing. I remember I got introduced to the concept probably 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know how. I was skeptical at the time. I'm now a huge advocate for it, and I think it's just reinforced that in my head. In particular, you're sitting there stroking the cat, just being in the moment. That's a good place to be a lot of the time. So that is my takeaway.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's difficult though. It's still hard, but trying to be in our own. Great.
You're doing good, Joe. You're doing good. Everyone, we'll be back again next week. Again, if you like what you hear, just click in the app that you're listening to right now. Click on that review button. We really, really appreciate it. And we will see or speak to everyone again next week. All that's left for me to do, Joe, is count us down.
Go on.
3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys later.
So I want to know now, what's your biggest takeaway? Don't forget to hashtag it with Inspiration Nation in the comments below, and make sure you commit to action. So you can catch all our other Inspiration Nation podcast episodes right over here. So go check them out. And also, don't forget to subscribe, because that will tell you when your next video goes live by you hitting that amazing bell. So until next time, it's Inspiration Nation, and I'll see you right over there.